Let's start by reviewing some topics that you should know how to do. So the first one is going to be derivatives. So let's calculate derivatives of the following functions. So the first function we're going to calculate the derivative of will be sine squared of x squared. So what you could do is you could pause the video now and compute this derivative. Let's go ahead and talk about how to find this derivative. So the first thing I would do is I would rewrite the function. Remember that what does this power here mean? What it really means is that I have the function sine of x squared being squared. So if I look here, I have a composition of functions. I have an inside and an outside. So you're going to have to use the chain rule to find this derivative. So f prime of x, do the power rule first, the outside, so it'll be 2 sine x squared. And then you need to multiply by the derivative of the inside, the derivative of sine of x squared. Now if you look at this function you have now that you're going to take the derivative of, it's also a composition of functions. It has an inside being x squared and an outside being sine. So we're going to have to use the chain rule again to take this derivative. So you take the derivative of sine, it's cosine, and then you need to multiply by the derivative of the inside, which is x squared, and we just do the power rule to get that derivative, and it would be 2x. So this would be the derivative of that function. You could simplify this if you want, make it look a little bit nicer. 4x sine of x squared cosine of x squared. And that is the derivative of that function. Let's look at our second function, g of x. It'll be x cosine of x cubed. If you notice, this is a product. Right, let me underline it. There's an x and cosine, so you're going to have to use the product rule. The derivative will be the derivative of the first times the second plus the first times the derivative of the second. So the derivative of x is just 1, so this will be cosine of x cubed. And if you look at this second derivative you have to compute, what are you going to need to use? Again, there's an inside and an outside, so you're going to have to use the chain rule just like we did on the previous problem. So the derivative will be the derivative of cosine. It's a negative sign. And we still have our x that was out in front, so I'll just make this a minus x. The derivative of cosine is a minus sign, and then I need to multiply by the derivative of the inside, x cubed. So we just use the power rule there to get 3x squared, and there is your derivative right here. Okay, we're going to look at one more of these. So the third one, we're going to look at the function h of x, which is sine of x over 1 plus x. So what rule are we going to have to use here? Again, look inside and then outside. It's a composition, which tells me I need to use the chain rule. So the derivative of sine is cosine times the derivative of the inside. Now if I look here, I have a quotient, which means I need to do the quotient rule. So h prime of x would be, so there's a really nice formula for the quotient rule. So you take the bottom times the derivative of the top minus the top times the derivative of the bottom all over the bottom squared. So it looks like I have 1 plus x. The derivative of 1 plus x is 1, so minus x. So if you want to simplify that second fraction, you can simplify it a little bit into cosine of x over 1 plus x, 1 over 1 plus x squared. These are being multiplied, and there's my derivative.